The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 is the fourth and final installment of the Hunger Games franchise. Now, the previous movies came out before I was ever doing YouTube, so I don't have any videos made for them. However, I will tell you guys a little bit right now what I thought of each of them. The Hunger Games I thought was a good and very interesting movie, but I did also feel this movie spent the majority of it focusing on Katniss and Peeta rather than other districts. The Hunger Games Catching Fire, however, I thought was a great movie. I thought the characters were better, I thought the stakes were much higher, I thought the settings of the Hunger Games in this movie were much better. And finally, The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 I also thought was a good movie, but I did also feel this movie suffered from what a lot of Part 1 movies suffer from, and that is feeling like a lot of build-up. So naturally, with this being the final movie in the franchise, the pressure is certainly on it to be good. After seeing it, I can tell you guys it is good, but it does have some give and take. So now, let's discuss exactly what that is. So the movie takes place immediately after the events of Part 1. Peeta is still suffering from the hijacking that the Capitol used on his mind, which is the reason he attacked Katniss at the very end of Part 1. So while the rebellion is still trying to find a way to disarm the Capitol's control over him, they're also trying to find a way to disarm the Capitol's military operation. With that, Gale has suggested using these bombs he's developed to drop them onto a mountain that will essentially contain the Capitol's military facility. The rebellion ultimately decides to go forward with this plan, and it works. However, when the rebels go to confront those who survived this bombing, one of them pulls out a gun and shoots Katniss. Which I think should be partly to blame on the rebels themselves, because you just bombed the Capitol's military facility. Chances are one of the survivors who comes out of there is going to be just a little pissed off. Luckily, Katniss survived through a bulletproof vest, and now back at the rebel base, she decides to see if she can rekindle anything with Peeta. And here she truly sees just how corrupted Peeta has become from the Capitol. I mean, he is blaming her for everything that has happened to the districts. It makes her begin to wonder that maybe the real Peeta was just destroyed, and now he's become just another puppet in Snow's attempt to destroy Katniss. So during Finnick and Annie's wedding, Katniss ultimately decides that she has to kill Snow. With that, she sneaks aboard a hovercraft that goes to meet with the rebels that are attempting to take control of the Capitol. Once there, their goal is to make it to President Snow's mansion, which if they can do that, will essentially give them the control they need over the Capitol itself. However, they realize there have been a lot of traps that have been set up everywhere for them. But luckily for them, Katniss is able to trigger most of them off before anybody can get hurt by them. And if I'm being honest, this was something I didn't really like that much about the movie. Because this was, I want to say, around maybe the halfway point of the movie. And for a majority of the first half, this movie continued to feel like a lot of build-up. Swear to you, there were quite a few moments in this movie where I was literally sitting there like, can we get to some action now, please? So naturally, when the team got to the Capitol, I thought this was going to be where we're really going to start to see the rebels just start kicking ass and really showing their force in this movie. And then when we at first see all these traps just getting set off by Katniss and nobody's lives are really in danger from them, I just feel it takes a lot of intensity away from the movie. I mean, a lot of us, I'm sure, were really hoping for a really intense, action-packed movie here. And when the movie is really teasing us with some moments that look like it could be really intense and really cool shit, it kind of leaves you sitting there like, come on. You know why I'm here. Then eventually, as the team continues its way towards the mansion, they are greeted by the newest member of the team, Peeta, which obviously sends a bunch of red flags to Katniss with her thinking, hey, this is Peeta! The Capitol has been fucking with his mind since the end of the last Hunger Games. He even nearly killed me earlier on. Now you want to put him here with me, where there are already so many different ways we could all get destroyed? This causes Boggs, the leader of the group, to finally confess to Katniss that President Coin never even wanted Katniss alive. She wanted Peeta to be the symbol of hope for the rebellion because she feels Peeta would be so much easier for her to control and be able to do what she felt was right for the rebellion. Because we've all seen at this point, Katniss just never listens to anybody. She's gonna do what she feels is right. Well, now it looks like we gotta keep our eye on President Coin too now. Later on, they make it to another potential trap, and at first it looks like they're gonna be able to sneak through yet another one as well. But it turns out this one isn't exactly what it seems, and Boggs ends up getting shot down and killed by it. Well, at least it can't get worse than that, right? Nope, then this giant black ooze just comes out of nowhere and just starts chasing the group down. And to make matters worse, Peeta suffers through yet another relapse, which causes him to push one of the members of these rebels into the black ooze, which kills them. However, before anyone else can get hurt, the rest of them are able to escape. I will say, seeing the conflicting struggle that Peeta has to deal with throughout this movie, I thought was really good for it. Because you can clearly see that he still wants to do good. He wants to help. He wants to end the tyranny that all the districts have to face. But seeing just how much damage and control the Capitol has over him, it makes you realize that he has essentially become what he hoped he would from the first movie, and that is someone who is owned and controlled by the Capitol. So now in order to better infiltrate the mansion, the group decides to go through the sewage system to hopefully give them more of a surprise element for it. But the only surprise anyone gets are these giant mutant lizard things that literally just come out of nowhere and are now trying to kill them all. And now we get a really cool and really intense fight between the rebels and these mutant lizards. Actually, you know what? Let me rephrase that. We get a really intense fight between Finnick and these mutant lizards. I mean, he just emerges from the water, he's killing them all with his trident, and he's giving the group the chance they need to escape. But unfortunately, just before he can escape, the mutant lizards just drag him back down and just start eating him alive. So in order to end his suffering, Katniss decides to activate her grenade, throw it down, which essentially destroys him and the mutants down there. This situation now just gives Katniss that much more of a motivation to kill Snow, because she knows now that if she does not, then all of these deaths that have happened will be for nothing. So with that, Katniss and Gale decide to try to make their way directly into the mansion itself. Unfortunately though, their disguises don't fool everyone, and Gale ends up getting taken away by the Peacekeepers. Katniss luckily remains unspotted, and she continues to make her way towards the mansion. And here she sees that the Peacekeepers are right now focusing on bringing the children from the Capitol into the mansion for safeguarding against the rebellion. And then out of nowhere, these bombs attached to the parachute come down, detonate, and kill all of the children that are there. To make matters worse, Katniss notices Prim up ahead trying to tend to the children that got hit by the bomb, when all of a sudden a second wave of explosions comes, knocks Katniss unconscious, and unfortunately kills Prim. Haymitch is there to inform her that the rebellion was a complete success, and now President Coin is now serving in the mansion as the acting president, now that President Snow has been overthrown. She reunites with Gale, and here she realizes that Prim was killed by the same kind of explosives that Gale had developed for earlier in the movie. With that, she feels that Gale's presence in her life would only serve as a constant reminder that Prim is now dead. With that crossing her mind, she essentially tells Gale to piss off. Well, that's one way to officially kill a love triangle for a franchise. However, Katniss soon has one final meeting with President Snow face to face, and here he tells her that he was not the one who sent the bombs, President Coin was. Because she essentially felt that with Katniss out of the picture, that would make her rise to power as president that much easier for her. Can't say I'm surprised, I always thought President Coin was a bitch from the beginning. Speaking of Coin, she eventually calls a meeting between herself and all of the remaining surviving victors from the Hunger Games. And she feels they should have one more Hunger Games, this one involving the children from the Capitol, so the Capitol can get a feel of what they've been dealing with this whole time. And of course, there are some conflicting opinions here over whether or not they should actually do this. Katniss ultimately agrees to do so if she can kill Snow at his public execution. So we see the execution take place. Snow is tied to a post with everyone around him watching, including President Coin after she's given her, presidential speech. Katniss takes aim at Snow. However, instead of shooting him, she raises her bow, fires her arrow, which kills President Coin, while the rest of the people that are watching just storm the post that Snow is tied to and kill him. The final moments of this movie show Katniss back in District 12, trying to readjust to her life after everything that's happened. She also reunites with Peeta, who has finally overcome the Capitol's control over him. And the final scene shows the two of them together, I want to say married with 2 kids together. And that is where the movie and this series ends. So all in all, like I said, The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 is a good movie. The characters are still great, the action when it happens is cool, the moments when they hit can be fucking intense in this movie. But I will say, there were definitely a few moments where this movie just dragged on. It felt way longer than 2 hours. And also, with this being a Part 2 movie, I was hoping it would be a lot more action-packed. I was literally hoping we would just get an all-out war between the rebellion and the Capitol. Like I said before, Part 1 felt like a lot of build-up, and I will say this movie felt like a lot of build-up for quite a bit of it too. But the positives do outweigh the negatives, and I will say this is a satisfying conclusion to this series. So that's all I gotta say. Guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.